Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cinematic Schematic, the official podcast of the Cinematropolis.com. I'm your host, Caleb Masters, and I am back with you today for more thoughtful conversations on film, especially films made by our co-founders, Jacob and Zachary Burns. Shifter!
Whoa!
You know, when I was a kid, she swore that this place was haunted.
Seen you a few times. Always alone.
Well, I don't go out very often.
You from around here?
Kind of, just outside the city.
You still tinkering with old junk in that barn like you used to?
Quantum physics. It's heavy stuff.
How are things down at the factory?
Heard about the stunt you pulled the other day. These machines are dangerous.
I was just wondering if, you wanted to go out for coffee?
There's just a lot going on right now, and it can be overwhelming.
Reintroducing the voices around the table for listeners who might just be tuning in. So we're joined by Cinematropolis co-founders. We're going to start with the writer-director of Shifter, Jacob Leighton Burns. Jacob, welcome back to the Cinematic Schematic.
Well, thank you for having me.
And also joined by Shifter, producer, movie saver.
Professional movie saver, yeah.
Is that what it says on your business card?
Should.
Like in spirit. That's what it says.
I want that. So, producer, movie saver, Zachary Burns.
Oh, hey. Hi.
Welcome
Hello.
back to Cinematic Schematic.
Thanks, man.
This is, I don't know if it's the final part, but this is nearly the final part of our talk on Shifter. Now, this is your latest sci-fi film.
Correct.
Time travel body horror film.
Correct.
You guys put out a trailer, and it looks freaking awesome.
Well, thank you.
And
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And it is going to be having its world premiere at a film festival. What film festival? Our listeners may be asking. The Cinequest Film Festival in San Jose, California.
That's the one.
And T-minus, by the time listeners are listening to this, let me do the math. Carry the 1, cross the 3, plus 2. Tomorrow.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. We got to get to California.
Yeah, you guys better catch that plane,
Yeah,
man.
bye.
See you later. Good talk.
Great combo.
Oh, fantastic. Well, January 2019, over a year ago.
Whoa.
I know. The last time we talked. And
What have we been doing?
for real, though, you guys have been just making Shifter, right?
Apparently,
I
yeah.
guess so.
Yeah. No, that's all I remember doing.
Yeah, that's true.
So, introduction for listeners who are just tuning in, or recap for people who listened in January 2019.
In case they don't remember.
They don't remember.
Seems
that
crazy.
specific- yeah.
Surely they know exactly what we all said word for word.
Word for word.
Over a year.
Listen, I listen to that episode every day when I get up, Zach, and this is really, I've been building up to this day
Inspiring stuff.
Good.
until we could have this episode.
Brings a tear to my eye.
So you guys broke your production into 2 parts.
Yes.
So last time we sat down, we talked about phase 1 of production. You talked about how you identified some locations, how you went through casting, all the legwork that you do before you can go into production.
Yeah.
But you decided to break the production for Shifter into 2 phases. So recap or reminder for listeners, what led you guys to that decision? Question number 1. Question number 2, how did phase 2 differ from phase number 1? And Jacob, we'll throw it to you first.
Yeah. So we decided to split it into 2 phases. It was mostly kind of a practical, logistical thing. So we, phase 1 we shot in November 2018. So not long after our IndieGoGo campaign had ended. So we had, our plan originally was to shoot it all starting in that November. And then as time kept moving forward...
As it always does.
Don't you love how time,
Yeah.
it just does that. It's always
doesn't
pushing
care.
things forward.
Yeah, it just has no remorse. So we decided to split it so we could kind of focus our attention on 2 different aspects of the movie. So phase 1 became completely focused on a large part of the movie takes place on a farm and in a barn and at a farmhouse. So the first phase was 2 weeks, and we spent the entire 2 weeks at this one farm location. And then the second phase we shot a few months later in February of 2019. And so we used those 2 weeks to focus on all the other locations. So it was very different in that in phase 1, in the first day, all the crew showed up, we brought all our gear, and then for the next 2 weeks, we left the grip trailer there. We completely took over this house. Yeah, didn't need to load stuff every night. Like, we just sprawled out across this farm, basically.
Yeah, we had complete control, and it was a dream.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
as
it was
far
great.
as like locations go.
Yeah, so we didn't have to do location moves or company moves or anything like that during the shoot. So it was very, it was logistically easy compared to how you would normally shoot a movie. So then phase 2 was basically the exact opposite. So we had company moves, which means we moved from location during a day, basically in the middle of the day.
In one single day.
Yeah. So we had multiple company moves throughout the entire shoot. Almost every day was at a new location. Sometimes a single day could have 3 locations.
Yeah.
As in
all over the place.
Yeah, all over the city.
Close.
Yeah. There's one day we were in like near the south side of OKC, then we went up to the lake, which is more north side, and then we ended up in Midwest City.
Midwest City. Yeah, that's a trip. Holy smoke! South OKC, lake. Wow, that's a fun.
Yeah,
and
we're all over the place.
How many hours in the day for the shoot?
Usually around 12.
Yeah.
Movie
sets are usually 12-hour days.
Yeah. So you cram a lot into those 12 hours. So yeah, phase 2 was crazy. It was, but like in a lot of ways we knew that going ahead. So like that's partly why we split it up, was so that we could then spend those few months really planning all that out. So like when we got there, it was hectic, but interestingly enough, we had less pages to shoot.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, when you're shooting a movie, you break down the script and you break it down by page count. And each a single page of the script is broken down into 8 parts. So you're shooting based on how many eighths of a page you're shooting. So I can't remember, but the majority of the page count was in the first 2 weeks at the farm.
Yeah.
And then the second phase had a lower page count overall, but then there was just so many more locations, so it still took up that amount of time to film it. And we, honestly probably could have used another week for both phases.
Any movie, you could always use another week.
Yeah.
At least.
But, it was also interesting. Maybe you could talk about that. Whereas phase 1, it was basically one actor the whole time. And then phase 2 was very different.
Oh yeah. Really phase 1 was basically all the crew on this farmhouse with Nicole Fancher pretty much every day. I think there were maybe 2 days that other actors came to shoot during phase 1. Other than that, it was just Nicole Fancher every scene, every time, every day.
Yeah.
Which, was great and fine. It was the simplicity of it was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, then in phase 2, we were in different locations where, it's more when Nicole Fancher's character is going out in the world and actually interacting with people. So yeah, it was like every day was a new location and every day was a new actor day.
Yeah.
Basically. So, which was great because then it was, I don't know, you just get to hang out with more people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
every
cool.
day was different. I think the farm was cool because it was so simple, but then after, 2 weeks of that, you're like, wow, I'd really love to not be in this house anymore.
Never go to this farm ever again.
Exactly. Yeah. And there was we'd have as many as 30 people crammed into this small house. And so it just got very claustrophobic. So
for sure.
Phase 2 was fun because it was a new place every day. Locations were a lot bigger. So it was
filmmakers on the go. You guys were moving around. Had
exactly.
Cars flying around all around the city.
Yeah.
Getting people from location to location.
Yeah.
I'm sure catering services must have been, the craft services must have been a blast on that one.
Yeah. I'm sure they had
basically
fun.
a food truck,
that would have been nice.
Yeah, they just follow us.
Yeah.
God, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I wish that's what we did.
Yeah.
So your timeline was about 2 weeks each, though. So
yes.
Okay. So phase 2 was also 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of one of the major advantages of splitting it was we were able to, since we shot phase 1, I was able to edit the movie, what we had shot. So I was able to edit half of the movie and watch it, and we were able to go, okay, this is working. This isn't working.
Yeah.
This is almost working. This is, and we
You
were
mentioned
able
this
to,
last time.
yeah.
So would you say at the end of the day
Yeah.
that having the option to watch phase 1 and say this is working, this is not, was this a blessing or a curse?
Definitely a blessing. Like,
Oh,
I think
for sure.
I think the movie definitely is better for it. Like, I wouldn't want to shoot a movie like that every time, but I think with our budget and the time frame we were trying to shoot in, I think it made a lot of sense, and ultimately was very, very good for the movie overall, because I think we were able to kind of pinpoint what needed to be worked on, and we could rewrite the script, or we could solve script problems or something like that in phase 2. And we even in phase 2 had a day set aside to go back to the farm.
Yeah.
And so if there was any pickup shots, or I think we reshot like one scene, like not because it was bad, we just kind of realized we just needed to do some,
Yeah, it needed to be something different.
yeah. And so yeah, it was a huge blessing. And so I think it absolutely was, it was great for the movie overall.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you guys made it through phase 2 of production, and then of course the next thing, I'm sure Jacob is your favorite thing, both of you guys really, the post-production where you get to watch it all
Yeah.
a few times,
Yeah.
right? A couple times?
Yeah, once or twice.
Once or twice. Yeah.
Do you quote it in your sleep yet? Do you quote it? You're in script?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It haunts me.
So the next stage, of course, being post production, so you're looking at editing, and then of course with you guys a lot of VFX shots. I imagine. Do you guys in the process? And I know every film's got its own sort of process. You talked to Martin Scorsese; they actually had to do the VFX for The Irishman before he edited it. Which, by the way, that's insane.
Yes.
That's nuts. That's not usually how it works.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my question. So for
Yeah.
you guys, did you basically have an edit of the movie completed before you did the VFX piece?
Yeah, we I edited it all, and we usually do. It's it's exactly like writing a script. Like you edit it once, and then you watch it and say, okay, this worked, this didn't work, this works really well, this doesn't work at all. Like and so you re-edit it. I go through it, then I send it to Zachary and Vinny, our other producer. They watch it and are like, yeah, no, this sucks. So
That's
then we're like,
direct quote.
yeah,
From, both me and Vinny.
Exactly, yeah. But they say that, but then they also say, but here's how it can not suck. And so between the three of us, we edit and then rewatch it and edit and rewatch it and edit, rewatch it, edit, rewatch it over and over again. So I think ultimately there's like 4 or 5 like cuts of the movie. Each one getting stronger and getting leaner and hopefully better as they go. So we our VFX artist was a guy named Matt Gardocki.
He's the best.
He's so great.
Such a nice guy.
So we had talked to him before we ever started shooting. We had talked to him and asked him a lot of questions about like what can we do on set that will help you out, like how we shoot it and all this stuff. Like, is there stuff we could do? So we kind of worked those details out with him, talked through all the shots that we thought we were going to need and what the overall effect we wanted to look like. And we'd also used him when we did our concept trailer for the IndieGoGo. He did the VFX for that, so we at least had a starting point for knowing what we were going for. So probably after like the 3rd or 4th cut, I got all the shots to him, which for us was huge. I think for Electric Nostalgia, our previous movie, there was like 12 or so VFX shots.
That many.
For Shifter, there was close to 80.
Oh wow!
So a huge
Huge
jump.
jump up.
That's
Okay.
a lot.
And like, some of them are more obvious than others. Like that counts for the actual shifting effect, which if you watch the trailer, you can see a lot of hints of that. And then there's dumb stuff like, oh, we can see a boom in the reflection of that TV. Can you paint that out for us? Stuff like that. Or there's a cat in the movie. To keep the cat in place, we put it on a leash. But we didn't want the leash to be seen in the movie, so we'd have him paint it out
Remove
so you
the
can't
leash.
see it. So between all that, there's about 80 shots of VFX. While I was kind of finishing up the edit, he was working on that, and then he would send me versions of it, just like everything else. He'd send me a version of it. I'd say, okay, this worked, this didn't work. I like the idea of it, but maybe try this, And between all of us giving notes and his amazing work, we were able to kind of find an interesting, cool look. And once you kind of figure out what it's going to look like, once you get the concept down, then he's able to move very quickly through everything else. And it's just a lot of small changes here and there. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it looks neat. If it looked, the trailer looks pretty neat. Guys, of course, admittedly, I'm a sucker for time travel movies, so I'll watch any time travel movie. And yours looks like it might be one of the good ones, though. So I am very excited to get a chance to watch the movie. Now, a question with the VFX. I know you guys are big, just from our our relationship, friendship, and all that stuff. I know you guys are big proponents of practical, do it practical and possible. Obviously, with the time travel effects. A lot more challenging to do. How did you guys determine exactly when you were going to go practical versus VFX, like more of the CGI approach?
Yeah. I think overall, just for our current budget level and the time frame, I think going VFX just made way more sense, especially since we knew
from a logistical standpoint, if nothing else.
Yeah, and so and especially we knew we were in good hands with Matt Gardocki, So yeah, we for the most part the shifting effects is that kind of stuff. There are some practical things. I think it's in the trailer. She vomits multiple times throughout the movie. Yeah. So there's some cool stuff like that.
You guys made her vomit on set?
That's not CGI vomit.
Oh man, how do you direct that? You'd be like, hey, just go and think about being.
It's So it's movie magic. Our art department team comes up with a concoction that she is able to drink and then appropriately let it fall out of her mouth.
I'm not trying to get too far off topic, guys, but I have to say I have a newfound respect for arts departments with vomiting effects because I won't spoil the movie, but Knives Out had the most impressive vomit I've ever seen in a movie.
Good. Yeah.
And I'm now looking forward to seeing what kind of vomit you guys used in Shifter because Rian Johnson set a new standard.
I think you won't be disappointed.
Movies,
won't be disappointed.
Oh yeah. So okay, well, I'm going to ask a question, and you can tell me whether or not you want to answer it, or if you want to tease it. Okay. As a time travel movie fan, aficionado, sucker for nonsensical rules, what type of time travel would you say this is exactly? If you were to draw, if you can't describe the actual. I don't want to say science because it's not real, but the logic behind it.
Oh, it's real.
Okay. All right. They actually time travel for the film. Oh man,
documentary.
That's the practical effects we were talking about.
Maybe if you want to break down kind of how the time travel works in your film, if you're comfortable. If it's too spoilery, don't be spoiling. But also maybe you could, if there are any other examples or inspirations you could mention.
Yeah. So we set out to make a time travel movie that didn't include a lot of the classic time travel tropes.
Yeah.
I have no problem with any of those tropes, just like you. I'm a huge fan of time travel movies. And so when we first started thinking about this movie, I just kind of had this vision or feeling of this idea of is there a way, what's the horror of time travel? We've seen so many of the time travel movies, and a lot of times they're comedies, or they're action movies, or you got your fish out of water stories and stuff like that. There's kind of, or you got things like Primer, that's kind of almost like a puzzle that you're trying to solve. And so, again, a huge fan of all those, but I just wondered if there was a new approach to it. And so, me and Zachary a couple of years ago were sitting in a Taco Bueno thinking about this movie.
This is where all great ideas come from. Taco Bueno.
Exactly.
You eat a couple
Taco Bueno runs.
Yeah, exactly.
You crack open a bag of party burritos and you think time travel.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of how it happened. So from there, we just kind of started expanding on this idea, and we kind of came across this idea of essentially, the synopsis kind of sums it up, where it's a woman who experiments with time travel, and things go wrong, and she begins to shift through time at random. So she can, she doesn't have to be in a time machine. She could be in her living room. She could be at the store. She could be anywhere. And she doesn't know when it's going to happen. And she doesn't know where or when she's going to end up. So it's
a lot of fun for her.
Yeah.
She sounds like she's having a good day.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
real good time.
So not to nerd out with you guys too much, but the thing that the time travel that comes to mind when you describe it that way.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I've seen this in a movie because I haven't
Yeah.
seen, and I also haven't seen how you guys are going to do it.
Yeah.
But it makes me think of two things.
Let's hear it.
Firstly, Lost season 5, whole other conversation. People unstuck in time, being time travel at random time, like without knowing when or where they're going to end up.
Yeah.
Not sure when it's going to happen. Which was heavily influenced by Slaughterhouse-Five novel.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know those are two of my favorite time travel stories.
Yeah.
So right now you're speaking my love language, time travel wise.
So very different from I haven't seen Lost, so I can't speak to that. But Slaughterhouse 5.
Oh, spoilers, guys! There's time travel in Lost. It was over
What?
it was over like 9 years ago.
Yeah. So Slaughterhouse 5, I've read the book and seen the movie, and they're both great. It is, whereas like Slaughterhouse 5, it's almost more of like memories. Like it kind of feels like we're stepping into their memories. This
is not that.
Is not that.
Okay.
And so,
but that's an interesting comparison.
Yeah, totally. And one thing we kind of did with this movie was, instead of looking like, I really didn't spend a lot of time watching time travel movies beforehand. I actually looked to other movies, specifically like The Fly, kind of the body horror aspect of it played a huge part. And then one of my favorite movies from a few years ago, Another Earth, was one that I really looked at, especially kind of for the main character. I thought I really liked how the movie kind of doled out information about her and just her arc and everything like that. So I kind of just watched how they presented that information and that character. And then another one it's very off base was No Country for Old Men. I kind of watched how they used the camera to help tell the story.
Very interesting.
So yeah, that was kind of the thing. I felt like if I watched a bunch of time travel movies, then I would just try to remake Back to the Future. And so I was wanting to purposefully look to other things and seek inspiration elsewhere, and then kind of maybe pull things from there and bring them together and hopefully create something unique.
I think that's really interesting, and it has me really excited, because you're right. If you baptize yourself, so to speak, in time travel films, but you're trying to tell a time travel story that doesn't use those tropes, inevitably those tropes are going to more likely to work its way themselves into your story, which you're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
So you just look at other good films that are telling a similar type of story, like as far as like the characters and the tone.
Yeah.
I think it's a really bold and interesting approach to kind of like trying to get a different spin on it. Very cool. Wow. Man, I'm excited to see this movie. So thinking about, how long did the total post-production process? I mean, so we were talking a little over a year ago, in January 2019, before you went into phase 2 of production. So how long would you say your post-production was? So from the moment you started editing it until you received the finished VFX.
So let's see. Well, we already talked about, I edited half of it before phase 2.
Right.
So there's no clear timelines. There's no rules anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
all over the
time
place.
travel. Yeah. But yeah, like, so as soon as we wrapped, which according to Facebook Memories was like a day ago, a year ago.
Thanks, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been basically right at a year since we wrapped, and we
finished the movie. Like what, January 29th of this year?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because we had to, since we got into Cinequest, we were like, oh, we should finish this movie. We need to get this movie done. So we kind of had to cram in a lot of work into the last couple of weeks of January. luckily, we had some really great people working on it. Vinny did the score, which we should talk about here in a second, which is really great. And then
how could we forget the score?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then Rob Derrick was our post sound mixer, and he was just a wizard.
Oh man,
on that post sound
work.
stuff. Yeah, so he was able to. I did a lot of the like initial sound design, but he was able to kind of take what I'd done and be like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. Let's do it in a way that like makes sense and sounds good. And so
yes, please make it sound good.
So yeah, the last week of January was very stressful because we were trying to get it done, and we had to get it completely done so we could get the Cinequest. And there's a lot of tears, a lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah, so many super late nights and waking up super early the next day just to work on this thing and get it done. And oh man, it was so stressful.
In the meantime, you guys were like throwing trailer parties and stuff too. By the way,
all at the same time. Yeah,
you guys always put on great parties for your films. So I always have a great time attending. No one else builds hype like you guys for a movie trailer. You know, I mean, I know we don't have the entire internet per se. But you know what I mean? Like you guys make a really big thing of it. So it was impressive to me because I talked to you guys at your trailer release party. And I was like, so how's it feel to be done? You guys were like, oh, we're not done yet.
Like, oh no, we're not done. We're not done.
Yeah, I think we're like, we will be done in a week or we'll be in trouble.
Yeah, basically, we have to be done a week from this party.
Yeah, that party was fun, but yeah, it was basically nonstop.
Yeah,
working pretty much the week up till that because we were trying to get the trailer ready as well.
Yeah. Well, of course, listeners today, you can watch that trailer that is linked in this. If you're listening to this via the website, thecinematropolis.com, I have that embedded in the post. And if you're not, you should head on over to thecinematropolis.com and watch it there. But
it's a neat trailer, guys.
It's neat. It's pretty cool. It sets the tone. Oh, and you guys built the real time. You know, talk about the practical effects. I totally missed the part where you guys built the real time machine.
I mean, how else are we going to have her travel through time? Right?
Real time machine. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Actually, I should give a shout out to Tanner Robinson, who built the time machine device in the movie.
And he did a great job.
It looks so good.
It looks great.
Yeah.
It's currently sitting in my garage. Sometimes I just look at it as I pass by.
Before we get to the actual world premiere, you talked a little about how the score and the sound design. Yeah. Can you talk? So let's start with the sound, and then we'll go to scores. Sure. So you said you kind of made these concept sounds that you put in place. So did you ever intend on using those in the real movie, or did you always know you were going to go to a post-production sound?
We yes to everything. So I very much value sound design and sound in movies. Like, I think since I am also the cinematographer in my movies, I really believe that having a great sound mix will make the movie look better. Mm-hmm. So it makes me look better at my job. So I always want a good sound mix. I especially with sci-fi and horror, it's just so important to create that atmosphere through sound. And especially a movie like this one where there's really not a lot of dialogue. And so the sound has to kind of like make up for that. So as I was editing the movie, I would put in like temp sound things or like kind of try to get the concepts of what I was wanting in there. And then once the movie was locked, I was able to get the sound stuff to Rob, and he could do like the nitty gritty, like the true dialogue editing, the true mixing and making everything like sound good and clear, and then he can also do like the surround sound mix, which is very cool. He got to play around with the surround sound. So in the theater, definitely try to see the movie in the theater with the surround sound, because especially some of the time travel-y stuff sounds so cool.
It's gonna be great.
But yeah, so a lot of the stuff I did make it into the movie. He kind of cleaned it up, or if there were things that I'm trying to think of a specific example, but yeah, just like some of the sound effects and stuff. Like I would put like kind of a temp version. I would like make it on my own in Premiere, and then he could kind of like recreate it in a way that he could then edit it better and make it sound fuller and like if I put in like kind of a low roar or something like that, he could like really bring out the bass of it, and it like shakes the theater now, and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he could do
That's the good stuff.
Yeah, so he could do a lot of cool stuff like that. And then the score is really cool. So me and Vinny talked a lot beforehand about like what the score would be, and it was kind of another thing, kind of like the style of the movie. I was like, I don't want to just do kind of the big thing right now, and I have nothing against it because I love them, but like kind of 80s style synth scores are kind of really big right now.
Right.
And all of them sound great. But I kind of wanted us to stand apart. So what I kind of latched onto early was percussion. And so Vinny kind of came up with this concept of doing percussion style like beats and stuff like that and rhythms without using percussion instruments.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the sounds were created by him like knocking the microphone or hitting a tub or banging on his table or there's a lot of cello in the movie, but the cello that he was using was broken.
Wow.
And so he would like,
And it sounds awesome.
it sounds so cool. And so, yeah, so like there's not like a strong musical and classical music sense theme but there's a lot of like interesting beats that just like propel the movie forward and make it move really fast. Like that's the few people who have seen the movie have talked about how fast the movie moves and how it just kind of feels like it's keep moving. I think the score is a huge part of that. But yeah, so the score is really cool, and there's kind of it's in the trailer and the concept trailer from back in the day. There's kind of this weird clacking noise that we really responded to, and it's kind of both sometimes used as sound design, sometimes used as part of the music. But yeah, it just has a more organic feel. We just wanted the movie to feel very organic rather than electronic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vinny came up with some really, really cool sounds and cool musical rhythms and stuff throughout the movie. So yeah, I'm really excited for people to see some of that stuff.
Well, if it's anything like the electric nostalgia score, or
Yeah.
at least in terms of like overall quality,
Yeah.
it's really good stuff.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
writes some good
it's
music.
great. Yeah,
Vinny knows what he's doing.
yeah. I will say when we were talking about possible future movies and scores for those, he did say, "Would it be okay if like the next score like is more musical?" And I was like, "We'll see."
Yeah, we'll see, Vinny. We'll see.
If it was like a traditional score, man. Okay, so that takes us all the way through the post-production process. So, at what point did you know? So we're going to move into world premiere. So you were premiering at Cinequest
Correct.
tomorrow, aka. For those of you who are not listening in, the day this goes live, you're having your premiere on Friday, March 6th.
Yes.
Yep.
So Friday, March 6th, Cinequest and Film Festival at San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know the theater name?
It is going to be in the Hammer Theater
Yeah.
at 650 in San Jose, beautiful San Jose, California.
Oh, yeah.
Very
I just
cool.
like the name of that theater, the
Yeah.
Hammer Theater.
I know,
that
right?
sounds appropriate for our movie.
Yeah.
It's gonna bang some stuff up. Let's put it that way. Critics are gonna be knocked off their feet. Yeah. So Hammer Theater, San Jose. So whenever you guys were, and Zach, I'm gonna throw this one to you and kind of talk to me a little bit here about when did you guys know you were gonna get into the Cinequest Film Festival, and 'cause it sounds like you guys got in and you're like, crap, we got to finish our movie. I mean, obviously you were already making progress, but that kind of like set a harder deadline.
Yes.
So like
For sure.
so what does that process look like exactly? About what point in post-production were you, and how much time did you have to finish it?
Let's see. What was it? Late November or early December?
Might have been December.
Yeah, so I think we got word from Cinequest that we were accepted into the film festival in, I guess, early December. Somewhere around that time that we were accepted, and we were like, oh, snap, that's great. Silently excited, celebrating to ourselves because, we can't tell the world
Didn't tell
yet.
anybody for
Yeah.
a couple months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we It wasn't until late January that we could
Yeah, it's like January
announce it, right?
20th or something like that. Yeah, it was kind of late January.
Yeah, like right before the trailer party.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, we had to keep that to ourselves for a month and a half or so.
How did we celebrate?
Did you guys go to Taco? Did you guys go to Taco Bueno? I think it's some.
Let's see. We went to
Such a dorky celebration.
the classic us. Let's see. Did we go to Tucker's?
No, we went to Schlotsky's.
Oh yeah.
Schlotsky's.
We went to Schlotsky's and got
Schlotsky's.
a couple of their pizzas.
Yeah.
Because
They guys, I'm sorry. I've eaten at Sloshki's less times than I can count on one hand. So they have pizzas.
they have pizzas and you should get one because they're
Surprisingly good.
surprisingly pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I'm amazed.
Yeah.
You're
just
blowing
like-
my mind right
just
now.
little personal pizzas.
Yeah.
They're pretty solid.
Okay.
So don't expect like a
Yeah.
pizza. It's like their own thing.
Yeah.
It's good.
But I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
So Schlotsky's. I've been
Yes.
very confused about their branding lately. So is it Schlotsky's or is it Sloshki's in Austin?
It's
It's just Schlotsky's.
Schlotsky's,
They're
it was-
kind of adding this Austin.
yeah. It
vibe
was
to
founded
it.
in Austin.
I actually didn't know that until
Yeah.
they put it on the signs.
Yeah.
By the
Oh,
way.
me
Me
either.
either. Yeah,
and
yeah,
I've
yeah.
eaten there
Yeah.
since I was a kid.
Yeah. So yeah, we also got. They have cinnamon rolls.
They have cinnamon rolls.
Cinnabon cinnamon
They
rolls. Yeah.
they have a partnership with Cinnabon.
And
so
they are
have
fantastic cinnamon rolls. That's the best part of Sloshki's.
It's Cinnabon, so like
Yeah.
they're legit cinnamon rolls. So
Yeah.
we each got a little personal pizza. we each got a little cinnamon roll.
There you go.
And then the best part of how we celebrated, we went back to Jacob's place and we watched a movie,
Which movie?
Rock and Roll High School, which is, if you haven't seen it, a masterpiece.
The greatest movie of all time.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
Rock and Roll High School.
Featuring the Ramones.
The Ramones.
Oh yeah. All right.
PJ Souls.
PJ
plays
Souls.
Riff Randall.
Oh, man.
Who else is in it? Everybody.
Yeah,
Clint
like
Howard.
Clint Howard is in there. Other people. Other people that you'll recognize more than you'll know the names of. As clearly we don't know their names either.
They're just everybody.
But the Ramones.
The
The
Ramones.
Ramones are in there.
Yes.
And they're actually in there. They play some songs. They actually do some phenomenal acting. A quote that I think I use probably daily or any time that there is pizza. There's a quote in the movie. Is it
It's
Dee Dee Ramone? There's a point when the Ramones, they get some pizza.
Yeah.
And Dee Dee Ramone is like, all right, pizza, let's dig in. And it's
They say it just like that.
just like that.
Yeah.
Let's
And
dig
it's-
in.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's, you just got to see the movie.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
One
The,
of a
the
kind
Ramones take over a high school, and it's great.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Must see.
I'm adding that to my queue
Yes.
right now.
Do it.
Yeah.
I want that pizza. That sounds good.
Yes.
Great. See, you're getting in the spirit. So, yeah, that's how we
So,
celebrated
yeah.
Shifter getting into
Hey, man.
Cinequest Film Festival.
Cinnabon. There's never a bad time for Cinnabon.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, never.
Especially when you get it from Schlotsky's in Austin.
Exactly.
Yes.
Not in Austin,
Yeah, but-
actually, but
Yeah.
Schlotsky's in Austin.
Schlotsky's
of
Austin Eatery
Yeah.
in Oklahoma City.
There it is. There it is. Oh, you guys have clarified so many things for me today. Every time I have one I drive past at least a couple times a week, and I'm like, but why? The Austin. It's just like overnight it became a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So most important takeaways though, you guys are having your world premiere, Cinequest San Jose,
Yes.
tomorrow night, 6:50, in the Hammer Theater.
Correct.
Do you know, will it be replaying multiple times, or is it one time only?
Yes, it is playing 4 times.
Four
over
times?
the course of the festival.
What?
It plays again the next day, Saturday.
Saturday.
I think that was.
6.
I don't remember the time. Sometime that day.
Sometime that day.
It plays in Redwood City at what's it called? I can't remember.
Some other theater.
Some other theater. And then on Tuesday, it plays again at like
2 something?
Yeah, sometime in the afternoon at the California Theater.
That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, that'll be
that
awesome.
theater is big and fancy.
Yeah,
it's like a movie palace.
Yeah,
kind
old
of
opera house thing.
I want to go. You know what, guys?
Yeah, you're welcome to.
Can you?
By all
Can
means.
I? You guys have any room in your suitcase?
Sure.
I know your flight's about to take off any minute now. So
Yeah. We're actually on the
yeah,
plane.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got to get there.
So very cool. So Cinequest, by the way, congratulations on getting in the film festival. It's really exciting. I remember whenever you guys made the announcement, I looked at it and I was like, Cinequest, this this festival is very on brand for the type of stuff you guys make. I
Yeah.
think it's really exciting. Just feels like the right place for a world premiere for it. So
Awesome. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, we're excited.
It's gonna be fun.
So you guys have also gotten into another film festival.
That's true.
At least one that we can speak of today. Please translate this for me because I didn't know when you told me what it was. I didn't fully understand until you spelled it out. So the NoHo Cinefest. What NoHo? NoHo?
NoHo is the cool hip way to say North Hollywood.
I thought you meant something else entirely inappropriate that I don't feel comfortable saying on the air. So
no.
Certainly not.
Yes, the North Hollywood Cinefest in beautiful North Hollywood, California. Yeah.
playing
Just
your
north of Hollywood.
Yeah.
you are playing your movie in Hollywood,
Right?
Is this a dream come true?
Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah. Like, it's crazy.
It's very crazy.
It's going to play at the Limley Theater, which is a cool kind of art house theater, kind of a theater chain in LA. So yeah, it was kind of it was very shocking when I got the email. I was like, oh, really?
You don't say.
Nice. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that one. Especially we have a lot of friends out there, so they'll hopefully be able to go to the screening, and hopefully we'll be able to be there as well. So that should be a really, really fun screening. And then and right in the heart of Hollywood, LA. Yeah, so cool. So cool to be able to do that.
It's gonna be awesome.
That's fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
you're playing your film at a film festival in Hollywood proper. Not a lot of filmmakers could say they do that. It's true. For real, right? You just got to hold the zombie apocalypse at bay for a little longer, and you guys will be there.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out.
All right, gentlemen. So we have talked up a storm about Shifter tonight. So you got two film festivals coming up, Cinequest and the NoHo Cinefest. So listeners out there, you can keep up with this and all of that online. So Zach, I'll throw it to you here. Where can people keep up with more news related to Shifter online?
Whoa. Let's see. There's our website, shifterfilm.com.
Correct.
There's also a Shifter page on Facebook that you can like and check out. You can also follow Shifter on Twitter and Instagram at Shifter Movie. And yeah, that's where we'll post any and all Shifter related news. It's true.
All of the Shifter news.
All the Shift news.
The shifting news of the film. I was going to make a joke and it didn't work.
Wow.
I was going to say shifting dates, but no one wants to shift dates for anything. So, no, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Well, shift happens.
Oh, there you go. Oh, right. Fantastic. Well, Jacob, where can people keep up with you personally around the web?
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at boomdigadown. Those are probably the best place. I also have a website, jacobleightonburns.com.
What?
Oh, these kids and their websites
Right.
today.
No, right?
Zach, how about you? I know you're tweeting about Shifter stuff and shifty things, but you've got your own page, right?
It's true. You can hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at LeftEyeBurns. And I even have my own personal website.
What?
LeftEyeBurns.com.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty.
Dead cat.
Oh, yeah. I also sell shirts. If you guys like horror T-shirts,
I like horror T-shirts.
I have a horror T-shirt subscription service where you sign up, and I send you a new exclusive horror T-shirt that I designed to you every month.
What?
I have done The Thing. I've done
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I did do Friday the 13th.
That's right. It's a good one.
Yeah, Crystal Lake Camp Counselor T-shirt. Yeah. I've done Halloween 3 Season of the Witch T-shirt.
Classic. That was great. Timely.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I shared that one with all my Halloween 3 friends who are fans. And trust me, they don't talk up very often, but there are a lot of them.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
There are dozens of us.
I most recently did a Candyman T-shirt.
Hey, don't say that.
No.
Don't say it again.
Yeah, I'm never going to say that name again. Just don't read the T-shirt. Just wear it. And right now, this month's T-shirt is Phantasm inspired for all you Phantasm fans out there, which is one of my favorite horror movies.
So good.
It's so great. But that's at deadcattees.com if you like horror T-shirts.
I think if you're listening, there's a great overlap between people who are listening to this podcast and people who like horror movies and T-shirts. So I think we're in good shape. We're in great shape. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find more of our podcasts over at thecinematropolis.com. You can subscribe to this podcast, The Cinematic Schematic, via your preferred podcast app. Could be Spotify, could be Apple Podcasts, whatever you prefer. And, of course, you can find us on the Twitter and Instagram at The Cinematrop, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Cinematropolis. Guys, it's been a pleasure catching up with you today. And congratulations. Can't wait to see the movie, and very excited to see the next chapter of the adventures of the Shifter film.
Us too.
Cool.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning into the Cinematic Schematic today. Have a great rest of your month, and we'll catch you again next time.